Have you ever wondered how an old man with no team, no machines, no modern technology built a gigantic ship in the middle of nowhere? How did he survive the greatest cataclysm in human history with a wooden boat? How did all the animals in the world just show up and get neatly on a boat without panic, without war, without predator eating prey? Do you really believe this was a fluke? Or is there something here that we still don't understand? Today you will see this story like you have never seen it before. No romanticism, no cartoons, no cuts. What happened to Noah was a divine operation of cosmic proportions. And yes, it was a miracle, from start to finish. A world in collapse. The Bible says the earth was corrupt. It wasn't just common sin. It was a degeneration of humanity. Evil had infiltrated everything. People, weddings, justice, governments, families. The violence was constant. Evil was permeated in the deepest intentions of human beings. The Creator himself was saddened to have made man. But amidst the chaos, there was a man. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He had no voice in the crowds. But he had something no one else had. He walked with God. His name? Noah. An absurd project to human eyes. God gives a direct order. Noah, build an ark. Sounds simple, right? But the order came without rain. No sea nearby. Noah had never built a boat, never seen a flood. He never understood engineering. And yet he obeyed. Could you obey such an absurd order? Would you have the courage to start a giant project in public with everyone calling you crazy for something you heard in prayer? This is the faith of Noah, a faith that builds in silence, a faith that preaches with wood, hammer, and resistance. Details that are not random. The ark had exact measurements, 300 cubits long, about 135 meters, longer than a football field, 50 cubits wide, 22 meters, 30 cubits high, 13 meters, 3 floors, 1 floor for animals, another for supplies, another for people. Everything functional, everything fitted, no errors. And here's a detail that few people notice. No ship with the proportions of the ark, 6 times longer than it is wide, had been made in history before it. Only centuries later would naval engineers realize that this was the most stable format for large vessels on the high seas. How did Noah know this? He didn't know, but God knew. The miracle who walked on his own legs. Imagine a scene, 2 lions coming from the north, 2 elephants coming from the south, birds flying over and descending at exactly the right moment, snakes crawling silently, giraffes, zebras, horses, rabbits, tigers, bears. Can you imagine this? It wasn't Noah who went out looking for the animals. They came to him. This already defeats any rational explanation. It wasn't instinct. It wasn't chance. It was a miracle, a living miracle. They arrived in pairs, with discipline, without violence. The Creator himself had called his own, and they obeyed. The day everything changed. The sky was clear, the people laughing. Noah hammered in silence, until one day, the door of the ark closed. And it wasn't Noah who closed it. The Bible says that God closed the door. And when God closes a door, no one opens it. Then the first drop fell. Then the second. Soon the entire sky collapsed. But it wasn't just rain. The abyss broke. Underground springs began to gush. The earth vomited water from below. The sky spat water overhead. The sound was deafening. People screamed. They ran to the ark. They knocked on the door. But it was already too late. The flood, absolute chaos. For 40 days and 40 nights, the water did not stop. Houses were swallowed up. Mountains disappeared. Rivers overflowed. The world died. Yes, he died. There was nothing left with the breath of life. But in the midst of the apocalypse, a wooden structure floated. No engine, no direction, no human command, but with something no modern ship has ever had: the presence of God. The year in silence. People think it was just 40 days, but in fact, Noah and his family spent more than 1 year inside the ark. A whole year of trusting. No windows, not knowing what was happening outside. No GPS, no news, no prediction. The only thing they had was faith. The faith that while the world was falling apart, a God was still holding up. A new beginning. The water began to recede. The ark ran aground on Mount Ararat. Noah left. What would you do after going through all this? Would you rest? Would you run away? Would you cry? Noah builds an altar. Before starting again, he thanks you. Before seeking answers, he offers praise. And there, on that altar, God responds. God makes a covenant, an eternal promise. I will never destroy the earth like this again. And as a sign, he placed something in the sky. It wasn't just beauty. It was a pact, a reminder, a visible alliance. The rainbow is not just color. It's testimony. And what does this have to do with you? You might think, but that's an old story. But look around you. Humanity has returned to violence, to the ego, to corruption, to the mockery of faith. The world laughs at those who believe. But while the world laughs, God is talking to someone, maybe with you. Maybe you are the Noah of your house, the only one who believes, the only one who listens, the only one who obeys. And you are building your ark, even when no one understands. Judgment comes again. Jesus said, "As it was in the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man be." The world will repeat the past, and many will be taken by surprise, not with water, but with fire, not with animals, but with souls. The question is, will you be inside or outside the ark? Impact closing. If the story made you think, if it touched something inside you, so stop now and reflect. The world is already mocking. We are already building invisible arks, and the door will be closed, sooner or later. Noah's faith was not a religion. It was obedience, resistance, conviction, and may this be the faith you need to regain today. Final interaction for engagement. If you made it this far, comment below. I am building my ark. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that God still protects those who hear his voice. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Here, we don't tell stories to entertain, but to wake up. Thanks for watching until the end. That the same God who sustained the ark in the midst of chaos support you too.